Hi everyone, seems like Singapore has been pouring for the past few days and will continue to pour on, and I'm getting bored, but at the same time I feel too lazy to leave the house, so I guess I'll just do up another video. I know I promised a video on how to prepare for an SMU law interview, but I'm the kind of person who talks about whatever I feel like talking whenever I feel like talking, right? I felt like sharing about why I chose SMU law and why I choose to study in Singapore instead of overseas. Honestly, I use the word chose as though I had a choice, as though there were many options for me, but I felt it was more like God's plan, and also the school chose me. I remember when I was applying for schools, I was really quite confused, and basically I did not know what I wanted, and did not know which university I wanted to go. I did not know whether I wanted to study overseas or in Singapore. Basically, it was just a mess. And the first question that I had to ask myself is, what course am I going to take? Because that's the most like basic and fundamental question. If you don't even know the course that you want to do, you can't even start your applications, right? Because that's one of the first few things that you have to fill up. So I went by elimination. I mean, I know some people were already planned what course they wanted to take even before finishing their A-levels, but that was not the case for me. During that 1 year, as I was preparing for the A-levels, and my subject combination is BCME, Bio, Chem, Math and Econs, I felt miserable. I felt like it was a very torturous process, and that's where I realized that sciences are not my thing, math was not my thing. So I told myself I would never ever touch science ever again, and basically not do any of this science or math related thing for my future career. And so it was just the process of elimination, right? If you don't do math, you don't do science, then the next natural thing that was open was to do law. To add on to that, there was also the childhood dream of being a lawyer. Kind of. Yes. Not a very coherent reason for why I wanted to do law, but I guess it was passion, and also I like a challenge. And law school is really a challenge. It was really a challenge that, like, if I could turn back time and make the choice again, I would still have made the same choice, because as I've shared previously, I had another degree, and when I was studying for that course, when I was studying for the modules in that other degree, I really didn't feel a sense of fulfillment and didn't feel a sense of achievement. But each time I completed a law module, I really felt that I grew in terms of knowledge, in terms of time management, in terms of basically just the struggles. The struggles made me grow a lot as a person and as a student. So if I could turn back time, I would still choose to study law. So that's my answer to why law and why not other courses. Then the second question I had to ask myself was, should I study in Singapore or should I study overseas? First, you need to consider your finances. If you are well-to-do, yes, you can consider going overseas. I don't come from a very well-to-do family. I didn't want to spend my parents' money. And yes, there was the option of applying for scholarships, but the scholarships always came with a catch. You would either, if you apply for the school scholarship, meaning like for instance, if you applied for King's College in the UK and you applied for their scholarship, it will not be a full scholarship. They will cover a partial amount, and the rest you will still have to pay for yourself. And if you applied for a company scholarship or an AGC scholarship, for example, it will always come with a bond. And if you apply for a company, I think most companies do not want to give a scholarship to a law student, because there is no need for a lawyer in their company. They would normally hire lawyers with a few years of experience and not fresh graduates. So that's a bit hard. And if you go for like AGC scholarship, PSC scholarship, you will have to serve your bond, which is the catch. To me, this option was not something that seemed very attractive to me. The second thing you need to think about is what do you want to do? If you want to be a lawyer in Singapore, I think it's good to study law in Singapore, right? So you wouldn't have to convert your knowledge from like UK law to Singapore law or US law to Singapore law. I mean, usually people would prefer to study Singapore law so that it's easier, and you also will not have to do part A of the bar. Just to give you a brief understanding of what happens if you go overseas. If you study in the UK, when you return to Singapore, you have to do 6 months or maybe less, a little less than 6 months to complete part A of the bar. And after that, you will have to do part B of the bar. And you will also have to do 2 times the training, which means if you graduate from a local law school, you just have to finish 6 months of training. But if you come from the UK, you have to do 6 months of RLT, which is relevant legal training, and then do another 6 months of training, which equates to 1 year of training. Yeah, so that's the downside of returning to Singapore if you had studied overseas. But I must say that there are benefits to studying overseas. Okay, one benefit of studying overseas is that you can actually work overseas. Yeah, if that is part of your plan, if that is your intention, for instance, you want to become a UK lawyer, you want to become a US lawyer, then I would say go ahead. Go to the UK and go and study, because if you study there, the chances of you being able to get a training contract in a UK law firm or US law firm would definitely be higher than someone who studied in a Singapore law school. So yeah, it depends on what you intend to do and where you intend to build your career in future, as well as your financial capabilities. And if you're applying overseas, I would recommend that you state very clearly in your personal statement which course you are intending to apply for, and it should only be that one course, which is why I said the first question to decide is which course do you want to take. On balance, I felt that Singapore was more attractive for me. And between NUS law and SMU law, like I said in my previous video, NUS law did not accept me, and that's why I say the school chooses you, and the school chooses whoever they think is suitable. Over the years, I realized that it was a blessing in disguise, and I think it was God's plan, because right after I accepted the SMU law offer, I received an email that I was awarded a scholarship. So my entire university education was free of charge, and I did a double degree, so that was 5 years of free education. It's like the school was paying for me to study. I learned to see the benefits of having a school in the city. I know in SMU it was easier for me to do my double degree because everything was just so close by, and I could just walk over from one class to another without having to worry about getting to my class in time. I was really, really grateful for the scholarship. It wasn't just the financial support that I received, but it was also the fact that now you have a community of scholars to work with, and I really learned a lot from my group of scholars. I don't want to sound elitist, but they have really taught me a lot in terms of the way they execute projects, the way they manage different tasks. It's really a learning process for me, and there were opportunities for me to plan community service projects and all those, and basically there were a lot of opportunities for growth, which I felt I would not have had if I had gone to NUS law. Yeah, so that was in essence why I chose SMU law, or rather why SMU law chose me. Actually, one thing I felt that wasn't very conducive for me in SMU was the need to participate in class. I felt that it was out of my comfort zone, and it was not the way I learn. I'm an audio learner, and also I learn better when I focus on listening instead of trying to think of what to answer or whether I should participate, and to me that was a distraction. But I think on balance, it made me step out of my comfort zone, and it also really did make me feel more comfortable speaking in a crowd. It has helped me to be more bold
and courageous in speaking up.
That's that. See ya.